Stevie's just been an animal.
Well, he's going to have to wait for his first opportunity because it's a dry break, which is rare for Stevie. He quietly has a hammer of a break. Very rarely has any sort of sequences of dries. He's normally very, very relentless with his break. But of course, there's probably about as tough a first round draw as he possibly could have got, really. Josh Kane, it was the world semi-final. Josh beat him in that event. He is right up there. It's amazing actually. He's outside the top 32 in the rankings. Such a talented player.
I didn't actually know that, and I'm a bit of shock when it comes to thinking that, because Josh is so good. World finalist this year, former World Masters champion, such a good player. You can actually feel the buzz. It feels a bit different now. Simon, as kind of Thursday progresses into Thursday night, you see all the players. Buzzer with a good win earlier, and it feels like the event starts to come alive on a Thursday night.
Yeah, a few more players come into the arena. A lot of challengers arriving for their tournament starting tomorrow, and Women's Series starting tomorrow as well. I think the one thing with Josh is, obviously, we do know at his absolute best he's a world beater. He won the WPF World Masters. He's been in the World Final this year. We've seen some brilliant stuff from him from ultimate pool, but yet to see him go deep enough and win a title. But it feels like every time he's playing a really big draw, when he's in the big matches, he really turns up and delivers. He just struggles in some of the earlier rounds, and he's missed a couple of events as well, which has not helped his ranking. But when he's really elevated on the highest stage, he seems to really perform.
Yeah, he definitely does. He's a big-time player. Very exciting prospect to watch. Really not who Stevie would have wanted to see in the context of the race for the #1 spot.
Also doesn't help that Tom Cousins has already won his first round match, so he's already starting with a 1,000 point advantage, which is essentially like the last 16 run.
If we've seen anything from Stevie Dempsey this year, we've seen that winning mentality. Just the two of them, I think, have just been phenomenal. I don't think we'll see anything like that again. I never say never. I know we've seen the run of Shane and others that have done so well with Ultimate Pool, but a bit of a careless one from Josh. Disappointment.
Yeah, and equally it could have been a lot better for Josh Kane. Well, obviously we're seeing it from Stevie Dempsey's side of the table, saying Josh Kane is as tough a first round as match as he could have got, but actually it's probably a very similar story, for Josh. But part of that is his own doing, because he knows he should be inside the top 32. And actually he's right on the fringes as well. He's currently ranked 32 for the year, so he needs a big weekend here to get himself in there, so he's not fighting that same battle next year.
We get the first look here at Stevie. I think that 8-ball passes the red to the bottom left corner, so everything has a pocket. This is where we see the pattern play from the hammer. Yeah,
and this is one that isn't too difficult for him to work out. The reds being out of the way make it nice and comfy for him, but nice opportunity to get the cue arm going and flow through a few.
I mean, if you can convert this chance, you kind of feel like it's a second chance saloon going dry on the break.
Spent some time, we mentioned this, obviously we were commentating together on a previous match earlier on this afternoon on the stream table too, and I did some filming with Stevie, talking to him about his patterns, the way he sees the game and stuff. And there's some players out there that play a game that I can't relate to, and you couldn't teach other players to play that way because they play a lot of execution type pool. The way Stevie goes about his clearances, if you work hard enough and you study what he's doing and you want to try and emulate what he's doing, you can do that, because he keeps the game incredibly simple. The genius and the skill level in what he does in his patterns is amazing.
Yeah, I think that leads into the underdog mentality that he's won so much, and people still refer to him as an underdog. He still seems to have that kind of come from behind mentality, not one of the apparent sort of favourites, and it baffles me because of how good he has been, how good he is. But it is one of those things, like we spoke about earlier. If you were a lay person, you didn't know anything about pool, you would probably walk into the pub, and if you saw Stevie playing, you would say, not what I would expect from a professional. But when you're in the realms of a professional pool player, I mean, really, at the minute, there's no one better.
No. There are some players out there that I've filmed with, and someone like a Mick Hill, they see a shot and then they're like, if I do that, I'm going to win the frame because everything is easy. Whereas Stevie's is much more of an evolving kind of, there's my problem, I'm going to solve it this way. I've got this option. If it doesn't, I've got that option. So it's almost like, but it's everything is just simplified, and it's so amazing to watch and actually hear those insights.
Yeah, it's funny. Stevie's been a very good player for a very long time. I mean, we have to go all the way back to 2007. We saw him lift the European title. He was only about 18, and it's just been the evolution through Ultimate Pool. I think he's embraced the match clock. I think he's embraced the format. He's worked on it, worked it into his game, and he's actually turned it into a weapon. And I think that has been a massive... He's such a good player, but that kind of focused sort of way of using everything as a weapon to be able to kind of outsmart your opponent, outwork your opponent, get by your opponent. I think that's been a major factor in the rise of Stevie Dempsey and why he is at the pinnacle of the sport. Lovely connection. Fantastic break there from Josh Kane.
Yeah, immediately checks, does the yellow pass the 8 ball? Because the rest are all good. I'm assuming he is on the one top right. If not, he's got right centre. But the cue ball's running a little bit loose on that one. But if he's on the one top right, then it's fine. Then it all does come down to the one by the 8 ball.
Yeah, I don't even think he's too sure on whether it goes or not. I don't think he had a full ball there. You can see the spin on the cue ball. He's not great on this. Yellow in the triangle area, the obvious choice, unless the yellow does pass the 8 ball.
If it's that tight, you would want to be right behind it. Not the shot he was looking for. I'm sure he was probably trying to come back across around the sort of the middle of the bottom half of the table, if that makes sense, sort of almost the top of the triangle area, and didn't quite get into it like he wanted to. Still is on the one top right, maybe on right centre, but he's starting to dig a little bit.
He's played that well. The way he's going about this, Simon, leads me to believe that yellow does pass the 8 ball.
Yeah, hasn't tried to do anything with it, so I'm sure he thinks it does. And to be honest, the way the table plays with the new cloth on it, especially in the perfect conditions, that if he floats one in and it grazes that near jaw, you know it will suck it in.
Looks like he has to play it now. He's still not sure.
He's a little late to change the plan.
Yeah, it was tight.
I think the bigger problem as well, he had to inject a little bit of pace into it. If he could have just floated it in, might have had more chance.
Another chance for Stevie Dempsey. Goes right for his problem, straight from the bat. A little bit unfortunate with how that played out, but he's still in major control here. It looks like he can pot this thin. The natural angles will send him round. Well, he couldn't avoid the cannon. Yeah, he couldn't avoid the cannon on the yellow. That's what's kind of sent things a little bit messy. Is this a plant?
Doesn't have to. He can pull back, wait for another opportunity.
Is this a flick off the red? Play the plant. It's close.
If that wasn't certain, it was almost an unnecessary risk, but he's got away with it.
He has, and then some. Covered this yellow to the bottom left corner, and he's put a red in the way. Is Josh looking at yellow off red here? It's a tough shot if he is.
Yeah, yellow off red, and it's tight. That was very challenging.
Stevie with a much better opportunity here. The 8 ball being his obvious problem.
I wonder if he's got enough angle to play a little nudge on it now. Looks a little bit straight for that.
Yeah, I think that's why we're seeing him refuse that ball, because it's the obvious breaker ball. No, he's changed his mind.
Okay, so potentially red off yellow here. May not be able to get particularly close to the next red if he plays that. Well, that's 2 really bad visits to the table. Oh, what a fluke that is.
Wow.
Yeah, and he got very, very fortunate with his last error, not leaving anything for Josh. This is even more so. It's opened up the 8 ball, and wow.
I think there'll be a little bit of stick coming Stevie's way after that one. Declan Brennan, I know in particular, will be ready to dish it out. But that's what this game's all about. Fractions. You need a little bit of luck. Stevie now with a glorious chance to increase his lead. How much is the number 1 spot going to play in these guys' minds? You know, with Tom, I know Chris is still in the mix, but really, there's a lot has to happen for Chris to finish number 1. With Tom and Stevie, you know, how much does it mean to them? Because I know you know them; they're very nonchalant. They'll tell you, "Oh, it doesn't matter. We just want to win and whatever." But
I think they'll downplay it. I really do. It's just about winning this match and then this tournament and so on and so forth. But I think it's huge. I really do. I think both players. Okay, I know, Tom's a 2-time world champion, so arguably you can say, look, he's got the CV that people are already talking about him being an all-time great. He's still a full-time player. It's still queuing all the time and practicing, and it's you feel like his level's just going to keep going through the roof.
Yeah, absolutely. As we get a second look at why the man is called the Hammer. He didn't catch that as flush as he normally does, but he's still got good explosion off the pack. He's given himself a really nice chance here on reds. I think if this is a chance, then you would expect Stevie to take chances like this. This is going to hurt Josh.
Yeah, what a chance this is. What a layout this is. Just needs to connect almost the red above the yellow. He doesn't want the yellow to come into play. In an ideal world, absolutely straight would be perfect, but it's not worth the risk, so he may leave it just short of straight and use the cushion. Doesn't need to get good on, doesn't need to get close to his next ball, just needs to be on the line.
Yeah, that looks pretty good. Stevie Dempsey looking to turn the screw. Maybe a little bit of revenge here too. We spoke sort of at the top of this one that Josh did knock Stevie out in the semi-finals of the World Championships. And I know that's something that Stevie definitely wants to add to his resume. And I think a little bit of revenge and
I said at the start of the night when I was out in the arena with Stephen Jameson that I feel like as good a season as Stevie's had, when he sits back and reviews his year, that the final moments of that semi-final I think will really still irritate him, because I think he knows how he was a big favourite to win the World Championships at that moment. You know, he was arguably the big favourite to win it at the last 16 stage, and he had the opportunities, as tough as they were, and the match was high quality, and we were expecting the players to take him out, and he didn't quite deliver on the biggest moment in that match.
I think when Josh eliminated Declan as well, I think that put Stevie even more in the mould, given how well Declan had played, obviously winning the World Masters.
And you can catch that on table 1.
That race to the Challenger #1 is so exciting too.
It is.
I think it's amazing. It's like either one of David Hogan or Connor Tracy is going to finish probably #2 and having won 2 Challenger titles in a season.
It's quite amazing. But they both could get pipped as well. That's the amazing thing. But it would take something very, very special to pip them both. But they are the 2 standout players, no doubt.
Yeah, Kyle Cope very much in the mix there for that #1. And then I suppose with the way the Challenger is, I mean, we've seen it already. I say theoretically, but it's happened this season. Somebody could come and win both these events this weekend and come from nowhere and finish #1.
Yeah, you get 5,000 ranking points for winning a title, and Connor's on 14, David Hogan's on 11.5, and Kyle's on 10. So it is sort of between, it's in Connor's hands, no doubt about it, but David Hogan and Kyle Cope are right there, and then it's a big drop off. It's another 2,500 points back to Josh Duaz on 2,600. So it would take something very, very special for anybody outside of the top 3, but it is mathematically possible, so you have to keep reminding ourselves that. But you feel like it's going to come from the top 3 and probably more than likely the top 2.
I think if Connor Tracy hadn't have won both events, 3 and 4 of the Challenger Series in the same weekend, we'd probably be sitting here saying, it's impossible for anybody to get there. But given that it's already happened this year, and then obviously David Hogan, putting in 2 events himself, 2 wins, insane.
Yeah, very, very impressive years from so many, and exciting to see how they'll go, because they're just going to add to the strength of what's already a very strong field here with the professionals. Well, with this match though, this is key. 3-1, 4-0, right here and now for Josh Kane.
I just want to give a little shout to all the Irish players that do travel across the Ultimate Pool. Collectively, as an island, we've had an incredible run. I don't know if you know the stats, but
you told me it's big, isn't it?
We've had 8 this is the 9th, but we've had 8 Pro Series events, 8 Challenger events, and 4 Women's Series events, 20 events, 11 finalists, and 6 titles come up. That's crazy.
Incredible. It's amazing statistic. I don't see it slowing down for a while either as well. I think there's plenty more to come.
Yeah. Obviously with a big announcement yesterday with the launch of the Province Series. We will see Ultimate Pool Island Series kicking off in the new year.
Yeah, really exciting. Looking forward to that. Oh, Josh, he didn't want to get too close to this one. He didn't want to risk going behind the yellow, but this is a very challenging 8-ball at 3-0 down.
That's a fantastic shot. The Stevie Dempsey, Tom Cousins form almost seems like surreal.
Not the best, actually. Complete miss it from Stevie.
Yeah, he's got a good split, but he didn't hit them well.
Yeah, so far 3 breaks, and 2 of them haven't been his best. And having said at the beginning of the match that he has a very reliable break. Not so in the match so far.
Bit of a case of a commentator's curse there.
Yeah, actually not it's obviously tough with everything that Stevie has going on. And we talked about Jack being a full-time player. Stevie's not currently a full-time player. He had to come over for the Pairs Cup final, and then he had to go home. He's got other commitments, with family and work. It means he didn't get to travel here. He's actually only been in the venue for about half an hour before he actually played. It just shows you he was cutting the quite fine on the timings to be here for the match. So not the best of preparations. So not surprised if Stevie doesn't quite play his best level here.
Yeah, Yeah, I mean, these guys are so good, but the preparation, the mental capacity you need to be good at this game at this elite level, you know, is something that is often overlooked. And I'm a big sort of believer, and I look always at kind of, you know, body language and mental approach to the game. I think it's something we don't actually talk enough about, to be honest with you. You know, we're very quick to criticise people at times for how things go, but, you know, pool and life and kind of how you feel is a big part of how well you can play. But no doubts on Stevie Dempsey's mental fortitude. That's a bad miss from Josh Kane.
Yeah, he needs to cut the errors out himself to put the pressure onto Stevie.
He's disappointed.
Extension, please.
Stevie just taking a little bit more thinking time. If you're new to the Pro Series, it's a race to 7. It's a 50-minute match clock, a 30-second shot clock in action. And that does reduce in the last 10 minutes to 15 seconds. Those numbers you see at the back of the arena. And the dreaded beeps as the players' kind of skin starts to crawl a little bit when they come in. But that's why we love Ultimate Pool. That's why we love the Pro Series, the drama it brings.
Stevie handles all that probably better than, certainly in the conversation with 2 or 3 others, better than anyone. I think he's embraced all the new elements, understands them, and deals with them.
I think that in itself is like I mentioned earlier, is a weapon that some of the players haven't kind of quite got. You know, they hear those beeps and panic sets in a little bit, and then they maybe throw a loose one in, something we don't often, in fact we don't ever see that from Stevie. Just slid off the top of that ball. He wanted a much fuller contact on that to hold the cue ball. Stevie, of course, made it all the way to the final. Clash at the Causeway, last man standing. Again, just serial. It took a monumental effort from Sean Walsh.
Yeah. Was it? Did he play 8, 10 matches? He played a lot. 10 matches is an incredible number.
27 matches in the tournament, and Stevie played 10 of them.
Jeez, that is some effort.
It was the random draw, so the way that last man standing works, you know, with the random draw, he just kept getting drawn out.
Yeah. Someone's going to say it was fixed.
Yeah, well, he did accuse me, but
yeah. A little bit of I mean, Josh will be thrilled to get back to the table, and the yellow isn't really a problem, actually. I was going to say you may have had a touch of fortune again, but the yellow, I was about to say the yellow still goes and there is room, but the 8-ball's just got in front of it.
Was that shot a bit unnecessary? Did he need to play it off the red?
I think the reason he did was he wanted to hold the cue ball straighter, but yeah, you can argue he didn't really need to.
I feel like he could have got... Oh my God. That's not even there.
That's not possible. There's no gap there. And any flick on the 8-ball, he's fine. Any flick on the red, he's absolutely fine.
You could play that shot a million more times and you would never find that gap.
I mean, he does have a slight backup plan, but he does have to cue this one in well now. Which, to his credit, he does. And he's now finally on this yellow. I mean, how's he hit this gap? You're right, he couldn't do it again.
There's barely room for the cue ball to get through. Yeah, he's held that really nice. A little bit of a scrappy frame. Both players having an opportunity. But it will be Josh Kane.
Yeah, back within 1. Turnaround.
Get a look at the Josh Kane break. Oh. Cue ball left the bed of the table, but is it a good split? couple of problems to work out, but it's just popped straight up in the air. He's really thrown everything at that.
Extension, please.
Big visit then for Josh to try and get back on level terms. Just about enough room for the yellow on the right. It's all open, just needs to be connected together. Normally a very good sign for a pool player.
This is even better. I didn't think that went. Maybe wanted to catch that a little fuller for being hypercritical. He's got a bit of a shot to play here just to get back into prime position. You can see this one to the bottom right. And if you can... Oh, he's going into it.
Yeah, so that tells us he probably didn't feel that it was fully on unless he got absolutely perfect on it. His issue is that he had to go into it fully. He maybe would have preferred to go into that cushion first and flick it out. It's not come fully out on it, but it is now open. It's just access to it's not great.
Yeah, it's just a little bit congested around it just to land nicely. He obviously can... If he can come high, he's absolutely fine. If he can get nicely on this, bit of a shift in this match and not just as comfortable for Stevie. Oh, it wiped its feet.
I thought he'd missed that one when he hit it. One more good bit of cueing for the frame.
He doesn't have too much to do here. Just push it through, just make sure the pot. We've seen him miss one similar to this in this match, so... But not this time.
It's like a fresh match now, isn't it? If this 8 ball goes in, back to 3-3. Start again.
And a best of 5.
Quite amazing.
Oh
dear. And he finally found the break, actually. This one was very good.
Just that little flick of the yellow, just taking it off path, and you could see he knew where it was going. His Paris Cup partner just in the background, Carl O'Donoghue.
Extension, please.
No doubt we'll see Carl in action over the course of this weekend. But an opportunity presents itself for Josh Kane, and a good one at that. A very good one.
Extension call. Red ball's in play. Red ball's in play.
Just make sure you got a good angle on the final ball to track down for the 8 ball, but fairly routine for Josh from here.
Yeah, the way that Stevie started this match, I wouldn't have had my money on Josh going 4-3 in front.
No, and he's got his tail up. So we talked about his body language and completely changed. And he's starting to feel it out there.
Yeah, I've got a sneaking suspicion this weekend we're going to see.
Of course, there's no golden breaks in play. I'm getting overexcited.
So much work on a Monday for you.
Yeah, so used to the Mondays. Of course, no golden breaks or golden ducks in play.
Are they in play in the amateur championship?
They are,
Yeah,
yeah.
they are, yeah.
Yeah. We've seen a few as well. A little bit fiddly this one for Josh, but not too bad here on the reds. I'm assuming the red passes the yellow left centre. Even if not, though, it's like assuming he can get to the one bottom right.
Yeah, I think
it's all fine.
I think with thin clip on the one bottom right might offer him better position and might open things up a little bit more, but looks like he sees it differently.
He might play a bump into the 8-ball if he doesn't feel it really goes comfy. But it does look like it goes left centre fine, so he probably won't need to. First thing you look at really when you've got great players out there is what problems do they have and how are they going to solve it. When you work out that actually everything's got a pocket and then it's just about the connections, that's when you think you fully expect him to get it, and that's where we're at once again with Josh Kane here.
Yeah. You just get a sense with how these guys are kind of flowing, and you can tell from their everything, you know, that when they look at the table. I mean, I'm looking at this and I'm saying, this frame's over. I know it's never set, but I don't know, it's just the way that kind of, you just get that vibe and that feeling from them. You'd be more surprised if they didn't get the finish than if they did. And Josh Kane's really frozen Stevie Dempsey out of this middle part of this match.
Yeah, there was a frame or two that something Stevie would like to have again, but since then it's just been all Josh.
Yeah, I was just saying, I have a sneaking suspicion that we might see a new name on a trophy this weekend. I just have a vibe.
There's plenty to choose from.
Yeah,
there's plenty of players. I mean, the number of times I've said on commentary that they're going to win at some point, they'll win at some point. There's a lot of players that certainly you believe are capable.
John McAllister's one who intrigues me. I think coming close, obviously, new pro for this year. Highest ranked new pro this year, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. Of course, I mean, I know the World Championships, the various World Championships aren't maybe as much as they used to be, but he's been in 2 finals and he's won one of them. You know, he's won many pro titles in his career. You know, his CV is phenomenal, and he maybe a little bit like Stevie Dempsey at the moment, under the radar, or Stevie Dempsey was, I mean.
Yeah, you know, I remember being at tournaments and John was about 12.
Well, Stevie all of a sudden is a couple behind from nowhere here. This is where he really needs to find something, otherwise this match could be done the rhythm that Josh is on. And he needs a ball, and he's going to get one.
That would have been criminal if he didn't get a ball.
Been, yeah.
That is how you break, folks. Absolutely timed to perfection. Now, what's his layout like? It's not bad. Everything is a pocket, nothing really to do. Can we see Stevie throw a punch? He's been taking them. This is what I like to see, Si. Blow for blow.
Yeah. It comes down to, can you take your chance, otherwise you're going to lose the frame and then your opponent gets their chance. And that's not ideal. He's got that one wrong. And he's nowhere here. I don't even know if this red goes past the yellow to left centre.
I think he's got the red to the top right, but it's not nice. Maybe a little bit of shock for Stevie Dempsey here. Was cruising, and Josh Kane's really put him to the sword in these middle frames. Take this long. This will reopen the frame for him, but it's tough. And it's there.
That's brilliant. That was do or die, wasn't it? That doesn't go in, he'll probably feel that's match over. Brilliant.
But he's got to convert this chance. It's imperative that he doesn't let Josh get any further ahead. He just needs to connect these. It's going to be a little bit more difficult just because he's kind of going to have to go up the table to come back down again. But if there's anybody that can work it out, it's the hammer.
Oh, that little flick is so clever. Just to bump the 8 ball to a place where he can access it from a wide variety of places rather than having to get all the way down the table.
It's things like that that make Stevie Dempsey Stevie Dempsey.
Yeah.
The easy thing to do there would have been to just play it safe, come off the cushion, get yourself the perfect angle on the red. But the 8 ball was not inaccessible, but much more difficult to land on. And as you say, he's opened it up to be able to, I mean, really, he leaves himself anywhere in an open part of the table. He can pot the 8 ball. That wasn't the case up until that really clever and delicate shot.
I think he's slightly irritated with the angle he's left himself because he may have to pick a gap here, but he should just about be okay. Slightly hampered queuing. No, he's not. Is he? Well, actually he is. Just body language. Immediately thought he's in trouble, but the step around the table, you knew he was fine.
Yeah, these cameras play tricks on us. Sometimes we have to rely on what the players tell us.
Well, now he's swerving, so he isn't on it. I was right. Stevie fooling us. Oh, very, very good.
Josh broke really well the frame. This last break, we see a repeat.
Cue ball straight in. Just what Stevie Dempsey wanted to see. Jumps out of his chair. Keeping my eyes on Stevie here. How quickly does he jump out? Josh knows straight away.
Oh.
Here he goes. Let me at him. Split looks good. He likes the reds then, is it the way he's lining this up, is he? Trying to delicately drop this one in the right centre.
Unless he's really playing tricks with us, it looks like it. And I think if he does go red, it'll be because of that yellow on the sort of bottom left sort of side of the table. Yeah, he's changed his mind. That was maybe a little bit fiddly.
Yeah. So he's going to break it out instead.
Still opting for reds. It's all to do with that yellow on the left-hand side at the bottom of the table. He's got it. It's a good shot.
Yeah, and it's flicked out lovely for him as well. Now he can pick his route. Two and a half minutes away from the 15 seconds a shot, so keep an eye on that.
The standard in this match has been really good. Couple of loose ones here and there, but overall it's been nothing short of what we would expect from these two players. I was having a word and a bit of a discussion about Stevie's cue action. It's actually, he cues the ball lovely, but it's quite unique, not a typical action, as we could say. We could see those very small feathers. You can see just kind of like a, I don't know, like a stabby type of motion, and then that general sort of draw back and deliver.
he only really pulls it back once, doesn't he? It's almost like a very, very fine feather, and then the pullback in trigger. It works. There's no doubt about it.
I'm definitely not going to question it. It works all right.
I was a little bit surprised earlier on he left the red on the left-hand side, because I thought he could drop it in and then go about his work from there, but he obviously felt he was better to leave it where it was. Didn't quite feel right on it. It shouldn't be a problem because it's not a delicate drop in.
Yeah, he just wants to make sure he leaves the right angle here. Yellow just below the 8-ball spot. Just needs to be worked out. It's not huge, but it just needs to be worked out.
The line is somewhere where the yellow is, but he won't be able to play into the yellow here, or unlikely to. So he'll end up rather be short than long, because you don't want to be behind that yellow. Yeah, so he has left plenty, and this is the sort of shot that could get away.
Yeah, it's one of those sort of delicate shots from distance that he's got to really dig into the cue ball here, but he can't hit it too hard.
Oh,
that's beautiful.
The timing on that shot was incredible. Absolutely incredible. Excuse me, struggling to talk for a second. It's been a long day already. But this has been another brilliant visit to the table from Stevie. And we're all square once again as we just tick into the final 10 minutes. Cue ball straight in. That wasn't his best. Lost control of the cue ball, and the split and the power is brilliant. This is Josh Kane's opportunity to get back in front.
Such fine margins on where you hit that cue ball, where it makes connection with the pack in terms of the trajectory it goes on. Josh Kane with another a lovely chance to go to the hill, and we're inside the final 10 minutes. You know what that means? 15 seconds a shot.
Not the worst layout to be taking on at 15 seconds a shot, especially when you had a little bit of extra time just to get your head round it with the extension at the beginning. Now it's just a case of flowing through it.
From a spectator, this is where you want to see into the 15 seconds a shot. Match tied up at 5 frames apiece. But Josh Kane with a golden opportunity. That's okay.
Love to have another 2 or 3 rolls on it, but yeah, it is okay. Once you reach this stage in a match, especially with high quality, Stevie knows that he may not get back to the table. Certainly how he'll be feeling.
This is huge in the race for number 1. As we said earlier, Tom Cousins already safely through to the round of 32. The win over Matt Cook. And Stevie Dempsey staring down the barrel. It's Josh Kane with a simple 8-ball to go on the hill.
There it is. And a big moment in it. Oh, it's crunching. It is crunching. And there's work, though. There's more work than the last frame.
Stevie getting ready. You see, oh, I love that.
Yeah, just making sure he is ready to go. To be fair, it's not really gamesmanship, although you could see it like that. He has to be ready. It's 15 seconds a shot. But he knows there is work here for Josh Kane.
But it is an opportunity.
I'm assuming the fact he's gone reds, that the 8-ball must pass the yellow to bottom right, because if not, reds would be a nightmare. Now, it's all about the red on the left-hand side. That 8-ball looks tight, though.
Yeah, it does look tight. Can he go in now? He's trying it.
That's not worked.
And in trying it, he's actually developed both of Stevie's difficult yellows. Yeah, that's why the shake of the head. He's tried it again and he's missed it. Stevie Dempsey.
And that yellow passes the reds to top right. So these yellows are on. Not easy, but they're on.
It's interesting, actually, to me how he's just got there. Yeah, I was going to say it's interesting to me how Stevie will go about this. I mean, what if you're a player? What are you doing? Are you going through it quickly to give yourself enough time to win the match, or are you trying to just make sure of it so as you get to 6 each and maybe manage the clock a bit? You know what?
To be honest with you, the match is going along at such a lick. I knew we were in the 15 seconds, but I just felt we're going to get a winner. I hadn't even entered my head that we could end up at 6 for a shootout here. But you're absolutely right. But I don't think he needs to worry. He knows a counter clearance here leaves more than enough time for the deciding frame, and he'll back himself to make a break clearance. That's what the top players do. They believe that every time they have the break, that's a frame on the board. So he'll just be going through this at a steady pace. He's not happy. He's come a little bit short here. Wanted to be straight in on this yellow top left.
This is difficult because given the angle of this, that red's going to be more. I know it's not in the path of the yellow, but it just plays bigger.
He'll take this. It's not how he played it, but he'll absolutely take it. It's not going to leave a very easy last yellow. He may have to accept a very tricky ball from possibly even as high as the break line here. No, he's trying to get a little bit closer to it, but is he going to go too far? He is.
And all of a sudden, Josh Kane, you can see he's just sat up in his own chair. Stevie's going to need a massive fluke here, and he hasn't got it. We see the handshake already.
Oh, that's incredible. He didn't even ask Josh Kane to run through and clear those up. I'm quite amazed at that, actually.